What's up, everybody? We are Extrication Fitness, and this is the Untapped Podcast.
All right.
After a retry.
Yeah,
first retry of our entire podcast.
Second take there of the intro.
Yeah.
We had a little mishap there.
I don't think you guys want to hear the first try. That's for
right.
sure.
It was rough, but that's okay.
Oh, man.
That's what happens when, yet again, we have had a week off from this. We had more ice and whatnot come through, and it's like we were having a pretty mild winter. There were some cold days, but like not much snow. And then this past month, we've just been hammered.
It's always February, too.
It is.
Yeah, it always is. I don't know what it is with Missouri in February, but maybe it's Midwest in February, because Iowa had the same thing. Yeah.
And here we are, this week we're expecting some more of the later this week, too. So.
Well, the thing is we talked about, maybe being able to, call each other, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And, call into the podcast, so to speak. And we just decided not to, because, we prefer, I think, sitting down with each other anyways. Sure. I feel like our content's better when we do it anyways. So.
It wouldn't feel, personable, I don't think.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest thing, is we're not necessarily just having a conversation with each other, because we are, but we're having a conversation with you guys, too, the listeners.
Yeah, sure.
We're trying to make you guys a part of this conversation, and by being in two separate places, it just would feel a little funky. I'm sure we could get it to work, but it is what it is. So we have a good topic for you guys today. I think we're both kind of excited about this one. And it kind of comes from something one of your clients just kind of rattled off to you. Wasn't necessarily quoting anybody or anything like that. And he has a little saying that he uses. And go ahead.
Yeah, so I was chatting with him yesterday. We had one of our sessions together. And he said, he basically puts up a note on his wall. And it says, have a bias towards action. And what he kind of meant by that was, whether it's purchasing something, whether it's going and doing something, he just dives in. Instead of kind of sitting back and contemplating too much. Because a lot of the times, it's the same thing actually as cliff jumping. Which, at least for, in my experience, cliff jumping, if you just sit up there and think about it, you're not going to go. Or you're going to go and you're going to be pissing your pants on the way down and whatnot. But you just have to go. And in turn, your results are better because your adrenaline rush is better. Obviously, you shouldn't jump off a 150-foot cliff or something like that. But if it's like a 50-foot one, then you're fine. But I think it's a great, saying for it, because a lot of people, I want to start a business. I want to do this type of YouTube video. I want to do this type of TikTok. And they sit back and just keep talking about it and keep contemplating it, and then they never do it. Right?
Well, and even, fitness-related goals, fitness-related things, I'd like to, lose some weight, or I'd like to, get stronger, or lose body fat, or whatever it might be. But, they just kind of sit there and they talk about the thing, but they don't actually do it.
Yeah.
So I think you're exactly right that having a bias towards action, because you said that to me earlier, and I was like, wait a second, that's actually pretty good. And I was like, where did that guy get it from? And you're just like, as far as I know, he just said it.
Yeah, unless he's BSing me, and I would say he, from what I understand, he probably got the idea from somewhere. But
maybe.
So we kind of want to lean toward the fitness side, especially today, right? And we kind of talked about that. In turn, I'll start out with my own experience. And you got those of you that listen to the intro episode and whatnot, that I played college hockey for about a year. And then after that, I was like, man, I'm going to lose my mind if I'm not doing something.
Sure.
And so I knew I had to find some kind of outlet, and it turned out to be fitness, because I had already done off-season training and whatnot for college hockey before that. I was like, man, I really like this. I had liked it in high school and whatnot, so I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And so I dove right in, because I was like, I know I need to have something action-wise to keep me going after I quit playing college hockey, right?
Absolutely.
And in turn, that kept me, because I just dove in. I just didn't contemplate, I'll probably go to the gym, because it should help my mental health and whatnot, or it should help me stay active, should help me stay grounded. Instead of just kind of thinking about it, I just dove right in and started and went to lifting. Now, my form was horrible at first, and all my lifts were probably horrible at first. But
just the fact of being there, just diving right in and getting started anyway.
Sure. And the thing is, then after I got out of college, I guess after I came back home to Missouri Baptist University for about a year, what happened was then I was like, okay, I'm still, fitness is good. It's still helping me. But at the same time, I kind of want to have something to, work towards / keep me a reason to keep myself in the gym. Mm-hmm. And that ended up being just men's league hockey. It's just something as simple as that, and I'm still playing every week and whatnot. And, I know if I don't continue lifting, my performance is going to go down on that, because, people might find wow, you're a try-hard or whatever. No, I'm competitive.
We're just competitive.
Yeah, it just is what it is, and I want to stay in shape for that. And I know you could probably have a similar, experience with this. So.
Well, I think it's funny when, because obviously I play a ton of softball now, and I've gotten that a lot too. Bro, why are you trying so hard, or why do you take it seriously? And it's I enjoy being competitive with it.
Yeah,
there's nothing wrong with it, and just because you're saying that doesn't mean I'm changing anything. Like, I don't really care what you think. Sorry, I'm hitting 50-plus bombs in 75 games this past summer. Like, yes, I do keep track of stats because I also enjoy that.
Yeah.
It's not to flex on people at all. It's just because, like, I'm kind of nerdy when it comes to stats.
You don't tell people either. I just saw you were tracking it and whatnot, and I commented on it and whatnot. I was like, that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't, like, get cocky and tell people, like, oh, yeah, bro, like, check it out. Like,
it's men's and co-ed leagues and tournaments, like softball stats, like slow pitch softball. Yeah. So, yeah, to actually, like, flex on people with those, it would be stupid.
But again, it keeps you going. It keeps you going, too.
Exactly.
And that's kind of our point today. It's like, so, for example, one of my good buddies, and, you know, listening, you know who you are, he recently is getting back into running and fitness, and he right away has already signed himself up for a couple 5Ks.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a great idea because it's a bias toward action.
Right.
You know, he signed up, he got right to it. He knows it's going to hold him accountable. Because if he goes and runs that 5K without even training at all, it's going to be a bitch.
Yeah.
Right?
It's going to be
that's a horrible idea.
Right, exactly.
So I thought it was a great idea, and I thought it showcased, again, like, guys, whatever it is, whether it's men's league softball, men's league hockey, men's league basketball, whatever it is, flag football if you're still playing it, whatever your sport is, find a reason to continue going with fitness. Because fitness, I would say for me personally, like the first 2 years of me being in fitness, like it was pretty easy to keep going. Then I had to find other reasons to continue to keep myself going. And I mean, that client that had said I have a bias toward action, I mean, that's part of the reason he's training with me now, because he knows he needs to maintain muscle because he's training for a marathon.
Wow.
And we know how, you know, running a lot of the times, like if you just do cardio and you don't get enough food, it's like hard to maintain muscle a lot of the time. So it's great that he's coming in and continuing to maintain muscle there. Well,
and like another thing to train for are like your buddy here or our buddy, whatever, are events. You know, right now you're wearing a Murph shirt. Last year, like, you know this story, and I don't know if I've told you yet on an episode, but you know the story. Like, literally last year, I could do 0 pull-ups, like 0 pull-ups on my own, and we signed up for the Murph, and like I made it a point to get better at doing pull-ups because that's one of the biggest parts of the Murph.
Sure.
Along with the running and squats and push-ups, obviously. But we went out and I did 100 pull-ups. Like, that was a goal. That was a reason. That was a, you know, signing up for the Murph was having the bias towards action. Like, we signed up for it and then we did it. You know, and I made a point to train for something like that. So a 5K, a marathon, a Murph, you know, a bodybuilding competition, whatever. It doesn't have to be a rec sport, or it doesn't have to be a college sport, but it can also be events, you know, because like I'm probably like maybe getting close to 3 years of consistently working out.
I think closer in, right?
Probably getting like, I think it's 2022. Yeah, that would probably make sense. Maybe around getting close to 3 years. But anyway, like right now, I still have the mindset of I'm in like a body transformation.
Sure.
Like changing how my body looks. Like it takes time, which is one of the most grueling parts of it, is to be patient with results. But I know that, you know, a year from now or 2 years from now, like, yeah, I'm going to start having to find other things to keep my mind geared towards something, you know? Also right now I'm being on 75 hard. So like there are certain tasks that I have to get done. And that's a great way to do that, to do something like that. Like, you failed this program if you don't get these tasks done. You know, so that's another way to keep your mind interested and to not make it mundane and boring. Because you don't want the gym to ever just become like, oh, I gotta go to the gym again today. Like, I'm not really excited. Like, I'm not looking forward to it. No, like, you always want to have something like, I am training for this. I am working towards this body fat percentage, or this weight, or this amount of weight on my deadlift or squat, or, you know, whatever it might be. Like, have a goal and never give up working on that. Have a goal and never give up working on that. Have the bias towards action.
And again, guys, you know, you and I have kind of talked to each other, and like, we want to, in these podcasts, kind of give more of like ideas on how to do this, right? On like how to do something. Sure. In this term, we given you guys 10 options now or something like that. So I mean, if you're an athlete, train for your men's league. I mean, one of my buddies at work, he's 25 years old and he's training for semi-pro soccer tryouts still. So it's like, you know, and that's awesome. Like, he's giving himself that goal. He's 25, but he's still going for it.
Absolutely.
So maybe that's you. You know, maybe you're like as people say, a washed-up athlete. It doesn't necessarily mean anything. maybe you want to try to get back into some form of like, actual competitive athleticism.
Absolutely.
And whatnot. So it's not just men's league.
Absolutely.
Go for that. Maybe it's 75 hard. Maybe it's a Murph challenge. Because, again, those things, because even the Murph challenge, you have to train for 2 to 3 months correctly before it. Unless you literally want to, like, die before, like, during it
like
and whatnot.
We would not have, I believe we finished it in 49 minutes and change.
Yeah, something like that.
Because we were both like, wow. Like, that was fast. Like, we did really well. We did.
Hurt like a bitch, but yeah.
I mean, yeah. We were certainly, hurting afterwards and whatnot. But, like, if we wouldn't have dedicated certain training directly to that, it would have taken us at least an hour, probably.
Yeah.
And then probably more than that.
Yep.
But, we dedicated certain training to that, and we crushed it.
Yep.
We did. Like, we both did an excellent job of it. And it was fun. Like,
very fun.
And, like, obviously the cause is really what we wanted to be a part of and, like, whatnot. But if you can train towards that certain goal, like, it'll happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen. You just got to stick to it.
Well, that's the thing is, like, I mean, for those of you earlier in your fitness journey, it's what Wirt said. You're looking for a certain body fat percentage. That's what the great thing about an in-body is. Always look for an in-body if you can get one at your gym, at the supplement superstores, whatever it is with those guys there. A lot of stores actually, that's becoming way more common at like every gym now. In the in-body is. So that's a great option to get started there if you're early on in your fitness journey. Be like, okay, I want to get to this certain amount of body fat mass. I want to get to this certain amount of skeletal muscle mass. I want to get to this amount of body fat percentage. That's really good early on.
Right.
And again, if that can maintain you for years on end, that's fine.
Exactly.
Again, if you're a retired athlete, a great option, like we've said, is having the men's league to look forward to, having maybe a semi-pro type of league to look forward to. So you're still competitive. Maybe you're trying to, again, go back into some kind of like actual pro draft or whatever. Because I mean, if like, we're not ones to be like, it's never over. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like unless you're like 55, like okay, like maybe a little late.
Let's maybe stop talking about back in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
that's a little different. But
all right, buddy.
if you're 25, 26, 27, whatever, like. Go for it. You might as well try to.
Exactly.
And again, or we got the bodybuilding competitions. You know, if that's really what you're passionate about, you want to really like be just jacked like C-Bum and whatnot. Like that's awesome. That's a great thing to go for too. Powerlifting is also another good one to go for.
Olympics.
Olympics.
There's obviously lifting competitions in the Olympics.
And they're nuts.
Yeah.
Oh my
and that's like a cool thing because you also get to represent your country if you want.
Yes, exactly.
Or if you can get to that level. So there's so many options. There are so many options. So many options other than just like a weight goal or a body fat goal.
Sure. And that's like we said, like if that's right away what you want to do, that's good.
Yes.
And if it's like
stick to that.
Yeah.
Like please.
Yeah, sure. And again, like it could be like a long term 4 to 5 year goal you're going for powerlifting because I mean it takes a long time to get up to like a 600 something pound, 700 pound deadlift and whatnot. But it's like it's part of the process. It's part of the fun of it.
And that's something you have to be aware of and accept as well. Is you have got to be patient with the progress.
Yeah.
Because if you're 6 months, 12 months in, and you're like, man, I'm only seeing this amount of progress. Like, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't throw in the towel. Like, it'll come. It will come. Continue putting in that work. Continue with the diet, or working towards that goal, whatever it might be. Like, stick with it and recover.
Yeah. There's. I mean, for our aerobic athletes, it's the 5Ks, it's the marathons, the half marathons, it's the Ironmans, it's the sprint triathlons and whatnot.
100-mile races.
Yeah, maybe if you're a cyclist, like that's a good option too. You can go for like a certain distance of cyclist, like and timing there. Rowing's great too.
Yeah.
Again, guys, we're throwing options at you here because the reason like there is so much to look forward to still. There's literally like 2 or 3 of my clients that still one of them has rode like 15,000 meters in one stretch or whatnot on a river, which is ridiculous. Another one, I mean, we know. Your neighbor's brother?
Uncle. Brother and uncle,
yeah. Yeah, your neighbor's brother, yeah.
The Missouri
what does he row? Like a 340 miles or something like that on a river?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's how old?
Which maybe this kind of goes against... he's like an exception because he doesn't do a ton of training for it. And he goes out and wins it all the time.
Yeah, I mean...
Or he places second.
He's a ridiculous genetic freak too. Yeah, that's true.
But still... He has something to work towards.
He has a goal. Yeah, he's a fitness goal to work toward. Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. That's the thing is like... so many times, I mean, again, a lot of people I've met, like, they literally just, like, are there for health, which is great. Because, like, for me, being young and whatnot, like, I try to focus on, like, okay, this is going to help me when I'm older, which I know it's in my mind, but right now, I'm still on, like, I'm still an athlete. I'm still, like, I still want to look good in the mirror and whatnot. Like, it's like, at this age, at 23, for both of us, I'd say it's cool to look good in the mirror and whatnot, but like, man, like I still want to be an athlete and whatnot because I'm still young,
competitive. And like,
I mean, honestly, like we say this all the time too. Everybody should be athletes.
Yes,
100%.
absolutely.
Like that doesn't necessarily mean you have to compete in something, but everybody should be an athlete and be able to move like an athlete.
Basically,
in some way. Yeah.
Basically, your body should be able to function like it's supposed to without pain.
Yeah.
You know, and those of you listening in the like 18 to 30 range, guys, recovering, mobility, stretching, like all that kind of stuff is so important for your long-term health.
That especially goes for the older generation.
It's not the most fun stuff to do, but I promise you, if you can start incorporating it now, it will help you in the long term, so that you're not aching and creaking when you're 60 trying to get off the couch.
Yeah.
Like, you can get up and walk around and maybe even still run and hopefully still lift and stuff at that age. But if you can't recover right now and you can't stretch and you can't properly do all that stuff and keep your hips mobile and keep your knees mobile, everything, it's all connected.
Yeah.
You will not be able to do that without pain.
And that's for those of you, from the range of even above 30 years old and whatnot.
Well, of course. I just mean because 18 to 30, like,
they don't
we
think
like
about
to
it.
think we don't care.
We think we're invincible is what it is too.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, for those of you in that range, 18 to 30, and above that range that are older, if you have questions about like exactly what stretches or mobility stuff to do, let us know.
Absolutely.
And like it's not like we're an obvious resource. If you're listening to this, like we're an obvious resource. Like email us questions about it, whatever.
And because there actually are a lot of things, I didn't learn this until starting to educate myself and whatnot. Like there are a lot of like stretches and stuff that you do when you're younger that actually are not as good for your body as what they actually seem. One of them being like the figure 4 hamstring stretch.
Yeah.
Is really bad for people with low back pain and like herniated discs and stuff. That's actually it can be really detrimental to your nerves and to your back and whatnot. So like that's something everyone does. Like, oh, I'm going to do a figure 4 stretch out my hamstring. Well, you might actually be hurting yourself. So again, we're a good source of information and help and education on that. So reach out about that. It doesn't have to be lifting. Be like, hey, I need help recovering, guys.
Yeah.
Can I get some ideas? Yeah, absolutely. Or we will direct you into a place if it's somewhere we're not as
educated in.
Educated in.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, the thing is, too, is like, I mean, eventually as we continue to work on getting trained up and whatnot as well, one of those things, like we can literally put on like different videos of like a full recovery video on Instagram.
Yeah.
If you guys are interested in that type of stuff, that's the type of stuff we can throw up on Instagram and whatnot, on TikTok, whatever it is. Like we can throw that type of stuff up for you guys. Again, like that's why we want to throw out options today, because again, like there's different athletes, like whether you're a aerobic athlete, whether you're just a more of a bodybuilding / powerlifting athlete, more of a sports specific athlete and whatnot. There's so many different options for you. Or if again, like we said, if you're just getting into fitness, like same thing. That InBody is a great starting point. I think I would recommend that almost to be the exact starting point you should start at.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you're going to start with fitness, is like get an InBody. Again, the InBody has about a 4 to 6% error ratio, but it gives you a almost perfect idea of where you're at.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's covering all pretty much areas we need to cover for you guys and whatnot. Like wherever you are in your fitness journey. And it's one of those things, like, especially off this episode, guys, let us know. Like, if you have more questions, like, based off of the exact stuff we gave you, like we said, if you want us to put up a recovery post, if you want us to put up a sports-specific workout for, hockey or baseball or softball specifically, basketball,
football,
whatever.
Yeah, whatever it might be.
Obviously, you would be the baseball expert and whatnot, because I think you would talk about how bench doesn't exactly go into baseball players.
You certainly do. If you're a baseball player or softball player and you are barbell benching, or your coach is having you barbell benching, tell them no.
Yep.
And tell yourself, no, we're not doing this anymore. We are moving to strictly dumbbells. You and I don't even barbell bench anymore, really.
Yeah. I just do it for ego every once in a while. Yeah,
exactly.
Just for fun.
And it is like a good test of like maximal strength of the chest. So, but what my point is it's not even something we incorporate weekly, like at all. Not even close to it.
No.
So, yeah, if you're a baseball player, like, quit benching, please. Unless you just like having hurt shoulders and elbows, trust me. All right, I forever have a knot on my right arm here because I was benching, causing my shoulder to be inflexible, causing me to stress the elbow, blah, blah, blah. But
et cetera,
stop it.
Yep.
Anyway, guys, like, recapping. Have a bias towards action, meaning figure out a specific goal. It can be a weight. It can be a fat loss goal. Those are both wonderful sources of a goal. Nothing against those at all. Like, that's still a lot of my main focus. If you're an athlete, have an athletic goal. If you're still in college, or you're in a professional sport right now and you're listening to this, like, why don't you want to be the best that you can be for yourself and for your team.
Yep.
You know? So pick out a specific goal, guys, and work towards that. It doesn't matter your age, your ability, where you're at in your fitness journey or anything. Like, have a specific goal and don't ever deviate from that.
Yep.
All right? Have a bias towards action. All right? Guys, continue sending in questions for the Q&A.
Especially off this one. This is a good one.
Especially off of this one. This will hopefully get your mind spinning. And maybe there's something that, you want more info on. So continue supporting or sending in questions for the Q&A and continue supporting us. Continue showing us that love. Share this show with your friends and on your stories and all that good stuff. So until next time, guys. Peace and love.
Peace.